All right, so if you're here, hopefully that means you are into a blank Google Drawing. Uh, Having those multiple tabs open is important in this lesson. Hopefully you've got your blank drawing and then this video opened up and you can go back and forth. I would suggest as we go through the steps, pause the video, go do the step, come back here to this tab for the video, and then continue on until you get to the end. So I just went ahead, recreated all of the shapes real quick, and now I'm going to be putting them together, showing you how to do that. I will be working up here in this toolbar under that shapes button a lot. That's where everyone's going to be coming from. And actually I'm going to be using most just right in here in this area, those four. For number 11, that wave, this one down here, I actually go into call out, and then that's where that one comes from. So to build a shape, that first one, we'll start there at number 1, is actually called a chord. I'm just gonna drag out using my trackpad or my mouse. I can drag that out and make that shape how big I want it to be, except you'll notice it's not facing in the right direction. So then I'm just gonna take it from that top, from that circle, and I can spin it so that the flat part's on the bottom. Right now, my Yoda head is a little bit not even, so I can kind of even that out. And then I went a little bit farther with my line. I can just take those yellow squares and I can hold my trackpad down and drag those out and make it almost a whole square. To fill in colors, once I've clicked on a shape, I can go up to that fill color or can of paint, and then I can pick my color that I want. Baby Yoda's kind of green though, right? So I picked a lighter green. So that would be the shape that I created for that first one. Second shape, third, and actually fourth, I'm going to use quite a few times in a row here. Shapes, that is this one here, called the teardrop. Again, I'm going to drag out to make that point a little more pointier using that yellow square. And when I put him in place, you'll see I set him, or that ear, back behind, right? That means I pressed Control and the arrow down. If I press Control and arrow forward, it comes back, but I press Control arrow down, and then that puts it behind. I also made my border, border weight thicker. I click on that shape. I'm gonna go right up here to border weight, and I made it 4 for that. If I go bigger, then you see the difference there, right? So I copy and pasted it using Control C, Control V, and then for this one, again, I just rotated it to flip it around. I had to do the order to put it back behind again. So then you know how to make this shape. Oh, I put it behind on what I did. I just controlled arrow up to put it in front. But it's still yet behind the head, right? The inside of his ear. So that would be the first couple of steps now. So hopefully you're pausing, stopping the video, taking your time, as much time as you need to go ahead and get those steps done. I'm kind of going fast, it's not perfect. I took the teardrop again, filled it in all the way black this time, copy and pasted it, right? And then rotated it so it flipped it around. One thing I notice about Baby Yoda pictures or images, eyes are low set in the head, right? That gives it that baby look. And they're big, they're overly large. Small shapes, I'll actually show you that one here again. If I make a really small shape, it's easiest to click off of it and then to come back over and grab it. What happens a lot of times is if I go over to grab that shape and I want to bring it down where I want it to go, I end up doing things like that, right? I can just undo that. So click off of the shape, then you come back on, get the 4 arrows, and then you can just put that shape right where you want it to go. All right. For the eyebrows and face, I used the arc right here. I had to make it thicker. By going to border weight, made it 4, and then I just copied and pasted it, and then I just rotated the one to become his smile and rotated the others to look like the eyebrows. I'm going to delete that one I made. His nose is just a circle. I just took a rectangle here and then made it small. So that would be the head. To do the robe, to start that, I went under shapes and I took probably the coolest name for a shape is a parallelogram. So I created a parallelogram, copy and pasted it, colored it in, right, first, and then changed that border weight. For this one, you'll notice they're facing opposite directions. To do that, you can just grab one side and pull it, and then you can flip it to the other way. That's how I went ahead and built that. This one's gonna take a little trial and error though to get it into your body how you like it. You may have to make it wider or skinnier depending on your character that you've done. This one, remember, was under the wave here. And that's just the top, like his scarf, right? I noticed that they've had some scarves. Getting close to the end here, this last shape, not the last, close to the last, is just this rounded rectangle. I've got a couple of them. You will notice on this, when I put it in, and that is, it is behind the scarf, but in front of the robe. So if it was in front when I set it, control arrow back until I get it into its place for 2 of them. And then I made some green hearts here. And then you'll see that I set them back behind the arms. And that's just my real quick Baby Yoda. If you want to get fancy, you could go up into insert images and then search the web for a background. Maybe like a Star Wars background. You can insert that. But you'll notice, like with all images and shapes, that it's by the order. So I could press control and then arrow down until finally it goes behind everything. That's a long way to do it. Or with that picture that I put, I could right click, meaning I use the right finger on my trackpad with 2 fingers there, or right click on my mouse, and I'm gonna go to order, and then I would go send it back all the way to the end. All right, get creative with this Baby Yoda. I'd love to see what you end up creating. Go ahead and you can share it with me, email it to me. I hope everybody stays safe, and see you next week.